That brings us to our next topic: family structures. Which is best to raise kids in? Two parents, single parents, extended family, co parenting? There's no one size fits all when it comes to raising kids. But which family structures create the most stability, success, and emotional health for children? Today, we're breaking down the pros and cons of different family dynamics and how they shape the next generation.
Mm.
Let's dive in.
Yeah, dog.
And I know people like have their opinion, and I think they're going to be really surprised about our take on this.
Yeah. Now, here's what I find fascinating. As two single guys who desire to have children, and speaking for myself, like I would prefer to have, a quote unquote two parent household for the kids, not for my own personal benefit, but for their benefit. Like
Right.
as a kid who grew up in a single parent household,
Hmm.
I understand the feelings of uncertainty that I went through. But I also remember, the experience, the positive experiences that I got to have from, having kind of like that being having that village, in environment, with just auntie such and such, her kids coming over,
Hmm.
because it's aunties is usually, there weren't any on my mom's side, at least there weren't really any men, so it was just all aunties. But
Right.
you're going from apartment to apartment, hanging out. Now as a kid, it's like a big sleepover in your mind, but
Hmm.
the reality is just like, nah, like we struggling, like mom, we couch surfing at the end
Hmm.
of the day. But again, there's positives and negatives in all family structures.
Right.
But again, we wanted to discuss, again, for with the vision of promoting family and national unity to achieve some level of generational wealth by practicing group economics. It seems like there is certain household structures that will be better than others,
Right.
to me, from my point of view.
Yeah.
How about you?
Um. Each. Okay. Because I just had this revelation recently when I was doing the research, and what I realized is that the family structure that you choose to have externally,
Mm-hmm.
or the skeleton
Yeah.
of the family structure, whether you want to have mom, dad, two dads, two moms, one dad, whether you want to do co-parenting, extended family, whether the grandparents are raising, whether the godparents are raising, maybe it's an aunt, whatever the case may be. But I realized after doing research, um, that structure is important. But what's more important is the structure that's within the actual household,
Yeah.
the structure that's instilled in the child within the household, whether it's coming from an extended family, a co-parenting family,
Mm-hmm.
two gender family, or your nucleus family, mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about, because you could have, one could say, uh, the way to go is to have a mom and a dad.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have that two parent household and there's no structure
Yeah.
within
Yeah.
on how you do things, how you think, how you handle things, how
Right.
you go about, how you project things, and how you train the child
Yep.
and set them up for success.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do those things and you just let the kids go to their own devices and their own proclivities, there's, I mean, it don't matter who's at the helm. It's going to be doomed for
It's going to be
it's going to be doomed.
chaos.
It's going
It's
to be
going to be
chaotic,
anarchy.
and you're right. It's right, and render no positive results. So that was something that I realized, like, whether whoever the parents or the ones in charge,
The
governing, the
guardian.
guardians of the
Right.
household, if they're not implementing the structure within the household,
Mm-hmm.
then uh
No, there's no home training.
hey.
So to your point, I'm glad that you pivoted to that, because that's ultimately the only structure that matters.
Exactly.
Is the one, because when I initially, came up with the topic, it did stem specifically from something else, that was a comment I believe I saw, where it was just saying that people always assume two parent households are the best. However, to your point, when I thought about structure, it wasn't necessary. It is from more so just the structure of the household in and of itself, not necessarily who's overseeing it. Because I
Right.
think that's the fog most people get lost in,
Right.
and just like, oh, is it the mom? Like you said, is it mom and dad, or is it mom and but it's just like, no, it's because again, even if it's a co-parenting situation, as long as both parents is on the
On the
same
same page.
page
Right.
in regards to how they run their households, then the kid is not gonna have no lapses in their training,
Right.
because what happens at mom's house happens at dad's house and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do have a situation where at dad's house, I got structure in that, I got bedtime, I got times I need to have things done, and da 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 da. I got dad wants me to be a doctor, so he makes sure that I go to these events. He makes sure I
Mm-hmm.
read these books. But then when I go to mom's house, it's just I don't have anything, and I can just do whatever I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I could play video games all night and eat donuts and Doritos if I wanted to, and nothing's gonna happen. I
Mm-hmm.
can't do that at dad's house though.
He ain't having it.
Dad ain't having it.
Ain't having it.
So actually, that reminds me of that video we had where the brother was talking about parents, having choosing their kids' careers.
Yeah, let's share that, and then we'll talk about it.
Huh?
Let's run it.
Yeah.
I got a friend from the Middle East. He's worth around $5 million. And he told me I was cursed. And if I did not change things, then my entire family would be cursed forever. What? We were at the park and our kids were playing and my daughters were having a conversation. We were listening. And they were talking about books and things they read and going back to school and stuff like that. And as soon as they walked away, he said, "Hey, Chris, what is she going to do for a living?" I said, "I have no clue. Whatever she wants to do. Whatever she wants." So yeah. If you don't know what she's going to do for a living, she doesn't know either, and she could be nothing. So wait, what? He said, yeah, she could be a failure. Wow, wait, you planned their lives? He's like, yeah, I knew my son was going to be a doctor before he was born.
Man, dang. I think that
That's
video
powerful
right
video
there.
right there. Shouts out to the brother.
What's his name? You remember his
I
name?
don't remember his name, but we'll post it in the.
Yeah. We definitely gotta give a shout out
we'll give a
to
shout
all
out
the
to him.
videos and everybody that put up some content that gave us some jewels and wisdom.
Yeah, that was very impactful right there, and he said a lot that, like you said, I think a lot of parents don't take that one piece of parenting into consideration, like planning your kid's life, and it is as simple as, it is as serious as planning out their life.
What got me was when he said the guy asked him, "What is she gonna do when she get older?" And he said, "I don't know. I guess she could do whatever she want to do." And he was like, "What if it's nothing?"
Yeah.
He's like, when you leave it up to that, like nothing is an option.
Yes.
Because if you don't know, she damn sure don't know. He or she damn sure doesn't know.
And a lot of kids end up doing nothing.
Yeah.
And then the parents are sitting there wondering, like, well, why is my kid nothing? But it's just like, well, ma'am, sir, mom, dad, what was your plan for their career?
You left it up to the iPad.
Yeah, they whatever they wanted to be. Well, nothing was one of those options. A failure was one of those options.
Yeah. and you cultivated that.
So when it comes to family structure, again, it's not necessarily so much about the who is the parent, whether it's two, mom, dad, mom, dad, grandparent, blended family. That ain't really the structure that matters most. The structure that matters most is literally that kid's program. So again, y'all as the adults, whether it's one of y'all or five of y'all have to collectively sit down and plan out the next 18 years, or actually probably 25 years of your child's life. Mm-hmm. From literally from where they going to, because again, I saw a stat one time, bro, that said there was a video that talked about how they can tell like planning for Ivy Leagues or high level careers like doctors, that begins in preschool. Mm-hmm. So it's like so when we seen, so again, when we go to, I just went to the doctor this week. So when we walk in, they usually have the doctors, the smiling faces, and you'd be looking. I know I'd be looking like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never saw nobody look like that at my high schools. But the reason why we don't really see people that look like that at our high schools, and I went to public school, is because again, 9 times out of 10, when we go to the doctor's office, their parents planned for them to be doctors, so they planned what high school they was going to, what junior
Right.
school, and it wasn't the public school.
Right.
It was something specific because they planned it out.
Right.
So so our thing is, getting them in the STEM. So that's why, like I said, we got Gen Beta to really put our fingerprints on this stuff and to really put this stuff into practice. And I believe that as long as that we stay, focused on our vision, that we can make it happen.
And to piggyback on what you're saying, like I really want y'all to understand, it's not about controlling the kid or making them do you want what you wanted to do, or making them go in avenues that you felt that. No, it's about understanding that child, seeing the proclivities and things that they have adornment for, things they have attachments to, and you being a parent in that situation, and cultivating that for them to be successful in whatever it is. And there's nothing wrong if we like, look, I'm pregnant, this gonna be a doctor. And then as soon as you start, you get books about medical terms as early as you can get them. You give them the stethoscope. I remember back when we was kids.
I remember getting stuff like that. Yeah.
I wonder how old I am. But I remember the little doctor briefcase. It came with the stethoscope.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember them toys.
I might be pronouncing it wrong.
They still got them. No stethoscope. They still got them kind of toys.
It came with the
blood pressure
machine.
joint. Yeah.
It came with the syringe, and it came with a thermometer. For you to take the temperature, right. And you play doctor and things of that nature. And when we were coming up, when they asked you what did you want to be, a lot of people said doctors or lawyers or teachers. A lot of people wanted to be teachers when I was coming up as well, because that's what you've seen. You've seen a teacher as the authoritative figure, and most teachers cared about the student to a certain degree. It wasn't like the teachers now. Not saying that the teachers are bad, but it
was different.
No, but the quality of children that they dealing with, they have to be.
That was different.
They have to be the way they are. Yeah. And I'm not taking nothing from. And I give kudos to any teacher that could be a teacher, a teacher's aide, substitute teacher in 2025. Because these kids don't give a fuck. They always, I see so many videos like the kid talking about, you got me fucked up. They got me fucked up. No, sit your fucking ass down before I fuck you up. That's what they need to be told. Excuse the language, but that shit just gets to me like these.
But that's the home training now.
It is the home training.
That's the home training.
It is the home training.
We both know that the home training is no home training. So in the absence of home training, that's what you get.
Exactly.
So in the absence of structure, that's what you get.
That's what happens. That's
the byproduct of your lack of structure in your household. So get some structure in your life, baby.
Definitely need structure. There's another video where it talks more about the structure on how, like we said, it's not about the external. It's not about the wrapping. It's not about the wrapper, the packaging,
the clothing they put on.
The clothing. It's not about the house that you live in and how nice it look outside. It's not about the car that you ride around it. It's about the contents of each said thing. The contents within that car. Who's driving that car? Who's riding in that car? Who's living in the house? The dynamics within the house. How things operate. How things flow. Who's wearing those clothes? It's about the character inside those clothes, the integrity, the person. And all those are cultivated at an early age through parenting. So there's a video where they were speaking more about it. I'm gonna roll that one.
One thing that I think is important to talk about as we finish here is I started with the structure or not structure, right? My wife and I parent, we're very structured with the way we do it. Yeah. There's a time that we eat every day. There's a time that we go to bed every single night. Everything really does work on a schedule. and I do the same exact thing every single night with the boys when I put them down, and they look forward to it, even though they've been hearing it since the day they're born. My older son, every night, whether I put him down or Donna puts him down, if Donna puts them down, he asks for me to come upstairs to say to him the thing that I say to him every single night, because he wants me to say it to him.
Yeah.
He wants that consistency. He wants that structure, and I think it is something that not only is it like comforting for him,
Very.
but I think it's also setting a system in place of this is what we do. This is the routine that we follow for success.
And I can predict it and I can expect it. I can rely upon it. It feels safe because of that consistency, that reliability.
Hey, it's all about the consistency of stability.
Mm-hmm.
You know, stability goes a long way because in the opening, you know, we not only do we want to create functional kids, but we need to create children and little people that are stable, like
Yes.
mentally, and understand how to function when things are right, when things are wrong, when you don't get what you want. There's a lot of people like when you constantly give a child everything they want, and then they get into this world and something don't go their way.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of the problems that we have. You know, a lot of these kids are spoiled
Yep.
or whatever the case may be, or left to raise themselves and given everything that they ask for or want. And then when they, you know, meet challenges or adversities that don't align with what they think they should get
Yep.
or what they think they are entitled to,
Yep.
that's when we have chaos.
That's when the tension starts. And so he made a good point in that. Well, actually, she kind of buttoned it up when she said that there's a safety and consistency, stability. There's a safety and stability and consistency, and that is true because we naturally crave security, and because we want to have some sort of level of predictability in the world that we feel is chaotic. So this concept of consistency, it does matter when it comes to our, like you said, the structure of our household. We eat at the same time. I come up and say what I say to them every night at the same time, whether the mom. So it's like, but again, that requires the adults, the guardians, whether it's 1 or 5 in that household, to all be on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
So that's effective communication, and that's them relieving their egos of being in the center of the attention, to being a part of nature, or a part of their household.
Mm-hmm.
So these things can be achieved if
Oh, yeah.
we take the time to be a part of the household, as opposed to believing that the household is supposed to revolve around us. And that's, from my point of view, that's the biggest problem, because again, we get told as kids, because we want to do stuff as kids, but then what are we typically told? Like, well, you a kid, you can't do it. When you an adult, you can do whatever you want to do.
Right.
But that's something that's some language we gotta really reevaluate and reimagine, because what ultimately ends up happening is those very kids grow up to adults that think they can do whatever they want to do,
Right.
and whatever they want to do can be detrimental to their livelihood.
Yes.
And it can become a problem for their loved ones in regards to the emotional, mental, and financial strain that their decisions can have on the group.
Mm-hmm.
And it could ultimately lead to the structure crumbling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you tapped in on a good point. There's safety and stability and consistency.
Mm-hmm.
When you have that in your home becomes a safe haven.
Mm-hmm.
You're safe there, and you feel the safety, because to be consistent, that means I'm important.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Well, no. You make a good point, because I was going to tie it back to like within just the structure of the household now, just the male female relationship, in that one thing we often hear women complain about when it comes to men is the lack of consistency.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my point. Like, these things are all operating off these desires or these complaints are all coming from the same primal software that is in every human being.
Yes.
It's just how it's executed. So the same way we're talking about, it's important for parents to be consistent for their kids in regards to the structure of their household. Like, that structure of our household, it also applies to the male, the man and the woman's relationship, having that sense of consistency.
So guardians of the household.
As guardians of the household.
Mm-hmm.
So again, typically the women, they want consistency in regards to the man's fidelity. Oh, you didn't, or reassuring his love for them. Oh, love me. So, and the way that they want that expressed is, as they might put it, acts of service or a gift giving, things like that.
Yeah.
However, men's desire for security in their relationship is the same thing, but ours is different in that we want exclusivity. So we don't want you talking to every man. We don't want you taking every pass, every bed. No, we don't want you wearing nothing next to nothing to the club. That's how we want our security, and we want that to be consistent.
And the kid has expectation,
and the kid has
as well.
So everybody got expectations of security, which is normal.
Right.
It's human.
Right.
We all, males, females, children, adults, we all want it. But we just have to understand our place in whatever environment or situation we create ourselves in. Again, going back to vision, what vision are we trying to accomplish here? And then taking the steps to make sure that we are maintaining the consistency needed to achieve said vision. Period.
Point blank. Period.
And structure is the foundation of all that.
Structure is key.
Family structure in this case.
Structure. Remember, we talked about boundaries before. Structure, all that plays a part because, like I said, boundaries, structures provide safety.
Not to cut your wisdom off, but even structure and stuff when it comes to protection. So again, having a discussion about, in the event a stranger approaches you, this is our structure on how we gonna handle that situation.
Right.
Like that matters. That type of structure matters. Or little Timmy, little Johnny, our structure for school pickup is, we're gonna be here by 3:30. So if you look on your clock or your iPhone nowadays, your smartphone, and you see mom and dad or some approved guardian ain't here by 3:30, your structure is to go into school and wait in the office. And that matters.
It does.
That type of structure matters.
It matters. Yeah, stability matters. Because I was going to say, when you implement those, you feel, when you feel safe, you feel important. You
100%.
You feel valued.
100%.
You feel noticed. You feel seen.
Yeah.
Because no one protects nothing that they don't care about.
Yep.
And so when I know that you're protecting me, and consistency give you the same thing. If you're consistent about anything, that means you're in tune to it. You care about it. You're passionate about it. Whether what that goes for something as your dreams or goals, or how you consistent in your friendships or relationships or partnerships. It has all those attributes of it that are kind of subtle but also important. To us functioning as human beings and dealing with each other.
I agree.
I want to do this one last video.
Yep.
Because he kind of talks a little more about structure and superstructure, and like how like we just really got to try to get it together and just try to do better, and like really look into what is it that we can do better.
And this doesn't matter if you're poor class, you're middle class, or you're high class, you're low class. It don't matter what your class is.
It don't matter what the family structure is. It don't matter if it's mom, dad, mom, dad, grandma, godmom, auntie. It don't matter. It don't matter. Check this out.
What we found with the best families of the world is that they focus on value creation. They focus on a system in the home of how to raise kids with expectations. You don't pay for that. That's your role in the family. And you have expenses for your kids to be in charge of. Because without that, they have no motive to earn and create value, right? So if you pass those off, now you can give them ways to earn around the home. With action gigs all around the house, brain gigs, grandparents get involved, the neighbors get involved, and it teaches them financial literacy, value creation. They never ask you for money. Again, the bank of mom and dad is closed for good. It's a beautiful thing. No more arguments over chores, and really what it does is it protects the relationship. It allows you to grow true family legacy. So that's what we connected on, and that's what we're going to be launching out to the world here in February.
You heard that. It protects relationships. It protects legacy.
Yep.
When you know that your parents are there for you, and they got your best interests at hand, and they're going to do the things that takes to make you feel safe, make you feel heard, make you help you thrive and position you for success. Once you get to that age where you start thinking, you're more likely to have positive thoughts in regards
Yeah.
to your parents
Yeah.
than rather than you trying to get away from your parents.
Yeah.
Well, I
100%.
just I just want to get away.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Like, no, no, they love me. Like,
Right.
like I'm good. Like
Mhm.
we good. Like, and I love them.
Yep.
But we raise a lot of times we come up where we just try our best to get away from our parents because we are working out our own different emotions and
Yep.
really not working together
Hmm.
collectively.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. In that it all stems from just a lack of, going back to the previous topic, just operating as a group, specifically group economics, group emotions, group lifestyle, because that's really what
Hmm.
it boils down to. That's what our families represent. It's a lifestyle, and we can be the authors of that lifestyle. We don't just have to run the same play every generation runs, which is this chase or this pursuit of the American dream. You can create your own dream, and you can create your own structure at the end of the day.
Yes, you can.
And again, in my opinion, what was just shared, the last video we did, that's an excellent structure. Because again, that's a structure built on being value creators.
Right.
And a household of value creators can't lose.
Mm-mm. You
You
can't
feel me? Like
lose.
you can't lose. So that's why I would strongly support that being the de facto structure in all American households. We are households of value that with the vision of producing value creators. Because again, a household of value creators produces a community of value creators,
Exactly.
produces a city of value creators,
Exactly.
produces a region, a state, a country of value creators.
Exactly.
And as a country of value creators, you think we will ever want for anything?
Nope.
You think we go ever be at a shortage for solutions to the problems that will inevitably, put themselves at our doorstep? Like, no. You think if we really had this sense of national and family unity that we say that we want, nobody won't be able to, like, America versus everybody, and we will win. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. We
We will
definitely
win,
yeah.
but it starts in the home.
And we all be winning because all the other countries, because this is something that these ripples will
Right.
ripple throughout the world. They look at America as the poster
As their
child for
benchmark, right?
as the
Exactly.
benchmark and everything. So if we're putting down these great principles and raising these great people and
Hmm.
children and communities and governments and that's going to resonate and everybody and I beg to differ that they're doing that outside of our country is us here that we're kind of like boggled down with too many different ideologies and too
Yes.
many different
Yes. Too many options, as you said
options,
earlier.
too many options.
I agree with you. I meant to
Yeah.
say it back then, but to your point, like in my opinion, yes. From my POV, we have too many options. Because I talk to a lot of elders, people from the silent generation, and one thing I do realize about when they were coming up is, again, you either go work on the farm or you go into the military. When you get out the military, you either go be a police officer or you're gonna be a teacher. You know what I'm saying? All right. It was just real. You either go run a business or be an employee. You either go run this sweet potato farm or you go go and go to the army or go work the
Hmm.
railroad, whatever. It was very simple. You know what I mean? It was no one or two options. But
Hmm.
since again now you can be 50 billion gazillion things, which leads to just paralysis by analysis alone, to where again you end
Mm.
up being nothing.
Paralysis by analysis.
Yep, you end
That's a
up being
good
nothing.
paralysis. You become stagnant and stuck trying to analyze and
Everything, every option.
everything and every option and trying to think. That happens to me when I'm on Uber Eats, right?
No, it happens to all. I mean, think about it. It happens to all of us. We all experience these. I was just talking to my baby bro
It take
about
me
it.
like an hour to find something to Uber Eats.
So for example, it takes you. We'll aimlessly scroll on Uber Eats for an hour.
The same shit we look at everything
Look, Pete. Like I was telling baby bro, we'll aimlessly scroll on Netflix for an hour and won't watch
and
nothing.
won't watch nothing. It won't watch nothing.
But we scroll for an hour
Or put it on and push play and then get up and do something else.
after we scroll for an hour
Right.
to go find this good show or TV or movie to watch. So it's just like, yeah, man, like we just got to get it together and realize that, structure begins within a home, and a structure of value creators can't lose. So again, if one American household as a value creators can do, can do great things, and just imagine what a whole nation of household value creators can do.
Hey, the world is your oyster.
Mhm.
And speaking of good shows, you put me onto that show Paradise. I'm
Yeah,
stuck like Chuck, bro. Check it out, Paradise on Hulu. Like,
Peep.
that's a good one.
Yeah, man.
But